I just watched that bare-knuckle abomination between Paulie Malignaggi and Artem Lobov. BKFC 6, they seem to be giving their event numbers like UFC do, not very original. The organisation started last year and it's a really weird hybrid of what bare-knuckle boxing used to be. When bare-knuckle boxing was at its height, at its pinnacle around 250 years ago here in England, you had 30 seconds to get back up to scratch when either decked by a punch or thrown to the floor. That was allowed. And these contests went on, dragged on really brutally until somebody said enough or they couldn't get up in half a minute's time. So quite a bit different. This modern incarnation of bare-knuckle boxing, you have a maximum of 5 rounds, I believe, and they're just 2 minutes, so this is a very concentrated burst of combat. Another interesting point is that the original form of bare-knuckle boxing actually seems to have a bit more in common with MMA, because you were allowed to wrestle a bit and throw people kind of almost judo style over the hip. That was a popular kind of throw while fighting. So this modern style, while I'd imagine a lot of the MMA crowd are watching it, it was probably actually the original incarnation of bare-knuckle boxing, which was a bit closer to MMA. Another interesting point is that a lot of these guys who do compete in bare-knuckle boxing, they're coming from a boxing background. They're coming with techniques that they learned with hand protection. Back in the day, again, about 250 years ago, there were early style gloves called mufflers, but generally people were used to just fist fighting. They knew how delicate the hands were, and so they used to actually punch vertically and favour the top 2 knuckles because they didn't dislocate as easily. So quite a few technical differences there that you'd have to imagine with the talent pool as well being so much bigger back in the day. The technique was a lot more honed hundreds of years ago for fighting with bare knuckles because they did it so much. This was a bit of a mess in the build-up, and in the actual fight itself, Malignaggi probably ran away a little bit too much, gave away too much ground in the process of breaking his hands, I think, to actually be awarded the decision. So for what it's worth, I think they got the right winner. But whether this is going to get any real momentum, I'm not so sure about that. I certainly can't see boxing giving it the time of day.